Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you would never ask. It is Wednesday. It is the 3rd day of April. It's National Film Score Day. We actually know somebody who does scores for films, don't we?
We do?
Yeah. Linwood Bell. He does music for movies.
I
Also-
guess I didn't know he did them for movies. I
Yeah.
knew he did them for commercials. And
National Tweed Day today. National Chocolate Mousse Day today. National Find a Rainbow Day. National Walking Day. And Child Help National Day of Hope. All of that going on today. And I've got a guest joining me today, Stephen P. Williams. And I had to put the P in there because there's a lot of authors by the name Stephen Williams. So I was
Okay.
looking for him. I'm like, holy cow, you've written a lot of books. But he's got a book called Blockchain, The Next Everything. So if you've ever heard of the blockchain, it has to do with like cryptocurrencies and stuff. And he's saying that is the future of many, many, many things. So we got a really smart dude we're going to talk to today, Stephen P. Williams, coming up later in the program.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Time now for surveys and studies and such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. A general social survey found 61% of senior citizens now support legalized marijuana to treat aches and pains. I think part of this has to do with, think about this, people who were, flower children are now more senior citizens. So I think that's part of it. So there's some people that are just amazed. They're like, oh, wow. Older people are okay with marijuana nowadays. Well, it's because people who were okay with it before are older people now. I think that's part of it. So, again, it's only 61% in the survey. I've got a link to that if you want to read all the details, but that's a fascinating study. Thanks for listening to Surveys and Studies and Such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. A passenger flying with American Airlines was met by police upon arrival in Charlotte, North Carolina, after urinating on a female traveler's luggage during a flight.
what?
Yeah, this is not a good thing. He was intoxicated, quite intoxicated, confirmed that the law enforcement had to show up at the airport. He left from Chicago before touching down in Charlotte. 1 a.m. last Thursday is when they got there. So this was in the evening time. This is maybe a couple of Thursdays ago. Some of these stories I've had for a while now. The incident marks the latest in a long stream of urination incidents aboard commercial aircraft.
What the heck?
Somebody else did the same kind of thing. They peed on a seat in front of them back in May of 2018. The drunken traveler on another airways urinated on a fellow passenger in August. So third one in the last 12 months at least. So bizarre stuff. That's what happens.
I can't imagine a situation
No, that's never okay.
at all where I would say, I'm going to pee on this person's belongings.
There's nothing that makes it okay.
Unless they were stung by a jellyfish on the airplane, I can't imagine a scenario where that would be acceptable.
Probably not. That is, though, what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. HBO's vice presidential comedy Veep began its 7th and final season on Sunday. So, I am super excited to be visiting with somebody from Veep on this very program in the next week or so. So
I've never seen a single episode.
we don't have
so I
HBO,
can't-
so how could we
yeah.
have? No. Also, Nicolas Cage. I always thought he seemed like an interesting guy.
I love him.
He just seems like a fun dude. He's trying to get an annulment after his wedding to his girlfriend of just a year. He's claiming that he was too intoxicated to know what he was doing when they got married.
That's unfortunate.
What, Nick? What's going on, man? That doesn't sound like a good thing. And J-Lo was posted in a series of stunning bikini photos from Sunday. Tens of millions of people already seen it. J-Lo attended a Yankees game as well with her fiancé, Alex Rodriguez, on Saturday. So they had a busy weekend. Ball game and then bikini photos. You know, kind of like me. That was my weekend as well. Except for the ball game and the bikini photos. Otherwise, it was exactly the same. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s bands.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. The Rolling Stones have been forced to postpone their tour so Mick Jagger can recover from an undisclosed illness. I have a theory of what it is.
Plastic surgery.
No, I was going to say old age. They've been on tour for 67 years.
But have you seen him? Like, every time you see him, his face gets narrower and narrower.
Does it? I haven't really paid attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mick Jagger, I wish you the best. I hope it all goes well. I hope you recover just fine. And maybe you guys consider taking a little break. I'm just saying. I'm 43, and I can't imagine touring as much as they have.
No, they're 912.
And I'm not in good shape. They're in better shape than I am. So I'm not, this ain't a bad shape thing that I'm talking about, because I'm in much worse shape. Janet Jackson led the class of inductees for the what am I talking about? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There we are. That happened in Cleveland this weekend. It's been a busy couple of years for Janet. She just had her first child at the age of 50. Can you imagine?
Whoa.
So 50 years old, she finally decided, let's start having kids. Also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Def Leppard.
It's about time, as far as I'm concerned with that one. That should have been done a long time ago.
I don't know who chooses who's inducted and who's not inducted.
That should have been done a long time ago.
I think you need to put Heidi and I on that panel. I'm just saying.
I agree.
We'll help out. We'll help make this happen. Is there anybody that you think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's not in, or do you not even know who's in there?
I don't even know who's in there or who's not. I can't believe they weren't already in there.
All right. Well, then it probably wouldn't make a ton of sense for us to be rallying for people right now that we don't know, because they may already be in there.
I have no idea who's in there.
Okay. We've got that.
They should have been. That's all I'm saying.
We've got that all covered.
That long.
Thank goodness. Chris Rock was the host of the NAACP Image Awards on Saturday, and
sounds like he did a great job.
He did, but he got in a little bit of trouble from the producers because they said, hey, we don't want you to make fun of Jussie Smollett.
Oh, well.
But he did anyway. He's like, oh, you don't know who you're talking to. I'm Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You can't tell me not to make jokes about something that's in the news. I'm going to do it. It's just what he's going to do. So Jussie had been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. By the way, he did not win that nomination.
He shouldn't have.
I don't know. I've never seen the show that he's on, so maybe he's a phenomenal actor. You would think if he was a better actor, maybe he would have gotten away with what he was trying to. So maybe he's not. I have no idea. But Chris Rock made fun of him during the NAACP Image Awards on Saturday, and the producers were not thrilled with that. So, do you think he'll get to do that again? He'll get the gig again?
I don't think he cares.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably the case. I haven't really thought about it that way. Almost out of news here. I thought I had more stories, but I'll have to look down here and see. I do have this. Lauren Sanchez. You know who that is, right?
No.
You do, too. She's the one that's now dating. You know who Jeff Bezos is?
No.
Yes, you do. He's the guy that founded Amazon.
Okay.
I don't know who lost at Amazon, but he's the one that founded it. So he founded Amazon.com. He became a multi-bazillionaire. And now he's getting divorced, and then he's now dating Lauren Sanchez. Well, her brother, so this is where it kind of gets like kind of complicated, but her brother Jeff, so she's dating Jeff Bezos. Lauren Sanchez's brother Jeff, different Jeff, says that he helped keep the sisters' romance with Jeff Bezos a secret for over a year.
Okay.
So he's known about it for over a year. His sister has been dating a married multi-bazillionaire, and he helped keep the secret.
They're the ones that have to live with themselves.
I'm just trying to figure out, So my question is, how is that news?
Exactly.
You know where this comes in? When somebody like me has a 4-minute slot to fill, and they clicked the wrong button and deleted half of their stories. This is where it comes in handy. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night? Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Today, we're going to talk about the future. Well, it's actually not the future anymore. It's present. We've got Stephen Williams, the author of Blockchain, The Next Everything. Stephen, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks. Great to be here.
Good to have you here. Now, this is something that I'm always just so fascinated with this when people talk about the Bitcoins and the different things like that and the blockchain. I don't really know exactly what this is, but the good news is you do. You've literally written the book on the subject. So let's talk about the blockchain and how this is kind of going to maybe be integral in not just money, but many things in the future, won't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was invented to support Bitcoin, that cryptocurrency, but actually it's a foundational technology that can apply to all sorts of industries and things that we do in our day-to-day lives.
And this is my rudimentary understanding. It's kind of like checks and balances times a whole lot of people. Am I even close to that?
Well, I think that's pretty good. I actually hadn't heard it put that way. That's what keeps it secure because the blockchain is made up of all the people who participate in it. There's no central authority, so the information that's stored on a blockchain is reflected in everyone's computer who participates. That makes it very hard to change the information.
Exactly. I was going to say, if I wanted to try to, go in and cheat the system, I'd have to get a lot of different people on board to help me do that, which I think would pretty much be impossible.
Yeah, and not only that, the blockchain itself, the software, is made up of blocks of data that are connected cryptographically to each other. So they're also very hard to change.
So now for people listening that are going, okay, what is all this gobbledygook these guys are talking about? Because I think it's a little over my head even. What are some of the things that, in addition to currency, what are some of the applications that we're going to be seeing this used for in the future or maybe even now?
Well, I would describe blockchain as the foundation of a new sort of internet, which is being developed that will be able to track value, meaning the value of money, the value of your personal data, the value of artwork you own or things that are in your house. It's a way to keep track of all of that and to exchange it with other people, which is a very new thing. The old internet was the internet of information. And
now this is a little bit different in the sense that it's not one trusted source that's holding the keys to everything, but it's spread across, hundreds or thousands of people. That makes it more secure than just that one trusted source that, that could be, somehow hacked into.
Right. So the thing is, right now we trust these sources, such as banks or other official figures, to verify that we are who we are or that we own what we say we own. But with blockchain, you can actually trust the technology to keep track of that information so that you can connect with a person directly and have a feeling of trust that what they're telling you is secure. Even if you don't like or trust the actual person, you can trust that the information is secure.
Again, our guest right now is Stephen Williams. He has a book that just recently came out. It's called Blockchain, The Next Everything. So as this technology is being developed and as this is coming out, was it instantly accepted, or was this something that's been a long time in the making and we're just finding out about it, but it's been around for a long time?
Well, I would say that blockchain, initially, people started thinking in these ways all the way back in the 1960s. But the blockchain as we know it now was developed to support Bitcoin in 2008 by a mysterious man named Satoshi Nakamoto. Actually, we don't know if he was a man, a woman, or a group of people. And this technology was first for Bitcoin, and then people realized, wow, this could have applications in so many different areas.
When people talk about cryptocurrency, that's another one of those things that, some people, their eyes just glaze over. They're like, what are we even talking about? But there are some people who get it and some people who've done financially pretty well with that. But if I don't know what I'm doing, should I even dip my toe in that pond, or do I need to get maybe some knowledge on the subject first?
Well, my feeling is that definitely you should read up about it, and I wouldn't advocate trying to get rich off of cryptocurrency, although people did that a few years ago. But it certainly is a useful thing to know about and to learn about, and it's not that challenging to buy cryptocurrency now. There are many exchanges where you can use a credit card and purchase it. The difficult part is to store it in these things called wallets that you download, and that can start to get a little complicated, so I would definitely read about it first.
We're going to throw a link to make it really easy to find this book. It's called Blockchain, The Next Everything. It's available now. I have a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Pope Francis is an honorary Harlem Globetrotter. I think that's pretty darn cool.
Really?
He is one of only 10 high-profile people to receive the honor, including Nelson Mandela, Bob Hope, Henry Kissinger, Whoopi Goldberg, and fellow Pope John Paul II.
I want to be added
Honorary
to that list.
Harlem
I'm going to
Globetrotters.
find out what needs to be done. How great would it be to have all those names and Heidi Small?
John and Heidi Small, honorary Harlem Globetrotters.
I'm going to find out what it takes.
I do have a photo of me with one of the Harlem Globetrotters in the studio. They trotted their way in to chat with us on the radio.
I need to find out what it takes.
Remember that?
I would love to be able to put that on a resume.
I don't... Wait a minute. What are you filling out resumes for?
Honorary
Where are you
Harlem
going? Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you trying to tell me?
Hey, with a title like that, I could go anywhere.
You could write your own ticket, Heidi.
The options are endless.
This is today's fun fact right here on the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s bands.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Mister, Scandal with Patty Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Okay, here we go. It's chronomentrophobia. 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 We're surrounded by these. They're all around us. We probably have 6 of them staring at us right now.
I don't
Fear
know.
of clocks. There's one right there. Here's one right here.
What? That doesn't
That's
make
one right there.
any
This one right here.
sense at all.
If you're afraid of clocks, you have chronomentrophobia. That's today's Fun with Phobias.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the Weird Gift of the Day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. After his 73-year-old mother refused to dress his mannequin, a Florida man shoved the woman to the ground and began stuffing dumplings in her mouth. What?
What?
You can't even make a story like this up. Have you seen a Florida man, the Facebook thing that's been going on?
No.
There's a fun thing on Facebook. We may have started that because we've been doing we haven't done one in a while, but remember we used to do Fake News of Florida?
Fake News of Florida.
I think that's what sparked that whole thing.
Okay, I did see that.
Yeah,
I thought you meant a specific Florida man.
No, this one here is a Florida man who shoved his mother to the ground and force-fed her, for whatever reason, a bunch of dumplings. She didn't want to dress his mannequin. So, Mr. Dankner, that's the guy who, I don't know why all of a sudden it just shows his name, but it doesn't say it up here. Maybe I'm reading the story wrong. Anyway, he threw his mother to the ground, confronted her in the kitchen first. She wouldn't dress the mannequin, so he threw her to the ground, grabbed some small dumplings that were made for dinner, and started to shove them into his mother's mouth.
Wouldn't dress his mannequin.
She said she couldn't breathe while the dumplings were being forced on her. He's being charged with domestic battery by strangulation and aggravated domestic battery on a victim over 65. Dankler is being held without bond in a county jail. No word on whether or not the mannequin got out of this okay. So,
well,
weird story. That is why we call it today's Weird News.
I would have liked to have been there for that altercation.
That is a weird altercation. I would have stood up for her and the mannequin, and he would have been in trouble. Bad stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. According to a criminal complaint, 40-year-old Mary Ann Parrish of Florida was arrested after repeatedly dialing 911 to tell them her boyfriend was not being nice to her.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Not being nice or was
Six
being
times.
abusive?
Six
Because
times.
There's a difference.
Two different things here. 6 times over a 4-hour period. Ended at 1:30 in the a.m. A deputy finally responded. He witnessed her again on the phone with 911 while he was there. She's charged with using the 911 system for purposes other than emergencies. She's being held in a county jail in lieu of a $150 bond. And it says that he wasn't abusing her. She just said, he's not being nice to me. So she kept calling 911.
That is not an emergency.
That's not how this system works, lady. So if there's something going on, yes, absolutely use that system for what it's for, but
absolutely.
That's not what it's for. Don't do that. If you do, you're going to end up here in today's moment of duh.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these 3 things. Heidi, tell me, what do these 3 things have in common? A golf course, a hunting store, and a drain pipe. What do they all have? You can find one of these in all of those places.
Holes.
No, that's a good guess. Traps. Because, like, the drain pipe has a trap. That's where the...
Sand
and
traps.
a hunting... Yeah, sand trap.
Okay.
And a hunting store, you go trap shooting. Traps. They all have traps.
All right.
There we
all
go.
Right. I
that
can
is
see that one.
Today's These 3 Things.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and our good news comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. Now, there happens to be an event coming up less than a month away, because today's the 3rd, so it's actually the 3rd and the 4th of May, so it'll be here before you know it. It's called 80s in the Desert, and this event is coming up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all of the details for this event are available at radiotravelgroup.com. Take a listen to this. This is one of these stories where you just think, wow, that's an interesting idea, but who thought of this? I know where they thought of it. It says a new smart toilet seat could save thousands and monitor vital signs from the comfort of your own home. I'm sure this is an idea that they thought of while they were on the toilet. With 1 million new cases, of congestive heart failure diagnosed every year, this revolutionary bathroom product could make it easier for hospitals to monitor patients with their condition from the comfort of their own home. A toilet seat-based cardiovascular monitoring system created by a team of Rochester Institute of Technology researchers aims to lower the hospital's readmission rates for patients with congestive heart failure. With these toilet seats, they'll be able to, it's all been pushed through FDA clearance process, or working on getting it all finished up anyway. What they'd be able to do, after they discharge you from the hospital, this would be equipped on your toilet, and then every time you're sitting on the toilet, it would be checking things like your heart rate It would monitor your blood pressure, blood oxygen levels, the person's weight, and stroke volume. It'll also, the amount of blood pumped out of your heart at every heartbeat, algorithm analysis of the data, and further development. So there's a whole lot of stuff that they will find out while you're using the restroom. So that's an interesting idea. It says typically within 30 days of a hospital discharge, 25% of these patients are readmitted. After 90 days of hospital discharge, 45% are readmitted. They're thinking with this new technology, that could actually go down. And it says here $50,000 annually for getting too many patients what do you call it? Coming back?
Readmitted.
Yeah, readmitted.
So
they're paying that much.
Seats?
I don't know, but I'm looking at a picture of one here, and this is just the prototype. Look at this.
Right.
Look at all the cords on there.
I see all the cords. That
I'm
to
assuming
me looks dangerous if you're putting it with water.
I'm pretty sure they put a bottom on that so that's not exposed. Use the restroom and there's sparks flying out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I've got a link to the story. You can read it and make up your own mind. I was checking to see if this was an April Fool's prank, honestly, because it came out the other day,
right?
And I didn't read it for a few days because I thought maybe this is just a joke, but it looks legit. It's there. It's still there. So I've got a link to it in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.